So once again about AI, this is important now because I am getting into music more. I've always been into music, right? Like my daughter had a guitar when she was 7 or 8. My grandma got me one at that same time. When I was 12, I got my first Fender. Like I've always played guitar. I'm not great at it, but I can play C, G, E, D, A minor. And then recently, thanks to Rory Childs, I got another lesson in those chords, and so those are chords that I play most songs with. And I'd say I'm not bad at playing Social Distortion songs, strumming to that. That's not a big deal. But I've been producing reggae music, and like a lot of artists, I use samples and I use layers of music to make melodies and beats. And AI helps synchronize that, and it also helps my voice sound better because my voice sucks. So I've produced 39 songs, and on 11 of those songs, my voice is used. I wrote all of those songs, and I've been known for writing poetry all my life. Like I got published for the first time when I was 17 on Poetry.com on my brother's funeral program. One of those poems that I had published was on the back of his funeral program because he liked that poetry. I wrote my biography and published it in 1999. Handwritten. None of that was AI back then. AI didn't exist, right? So I've always been a writer. I've always been into music. I've had radio stations since 2006 with Utah Pirate Radio starting, and then now with Disruptarian.com and Ireland.com. And so I've always had radio. So to just justify the fact that I'm using AI, yes, I've always admitted that. I've always been into automation. So my first real, professional position was as a technician for Talist Incorporated, operating on robotics and automated pharmacy systems. And so that was all automated. That was, basically narrow AI. I've always been into it, and long before it got popular, long before ChatGPT, I could program in AIML, and I created my own AI. So I write code, I've always wrote code, but now AI helps me with that. It makes it a lot easier, more efficient. I've always wrote music, I've always wrote poetry, I've always published it since, 1994, I've always published my poetry. If you look on archive.org and you look up these two websites, creativegrace.com and creativegrace.org, I've had those since 1999. I had those, I no longer do. But, I've always wrote, and that's where I published a lot of it. So now I can just make more beautiful presentations of it with music. And so I'll use auto-tune, I'll use beat makers, rhythm makers, syncers, rhythm syncers and or beat syncers, and synchronize it all up. I'll use AI to remaster it, make it sound better, and I'll publish it. But a lot of it is me. All of the lyrics are me. All of the writing is me. I'll get some inspiration from AI, to kind of link words and things like that. But, I'm a poet by heart. I've always wrote poetry. So that's that as far as my music. My latest one is Disrupt the Darkness. And you'll hear this is the same kind of music and poetry I've always wrote. The same kind of lyrics, the same kind of mood and melody and theme. I've been writing since the early 90s. So it is now so much more beautiful with AI. Thanks for AI. And I'll say that anybody that's in an industry that AI has become a part of, that if they're not using AI, their competition's going to have a leg up. That's just the facts. So, sad news, just like any revolution in industry, things change.